Now we have for you Sean McDonald, who is the CEO of FrontlineSMS, and his presentation is on FrontlineSMS. So please join me in welcoming Sean McDonald.
It's an artful title. I came up with it myself. So FrontlineSMS is an organization that has, as you guessed from the title, been working in mobile environments for about 9 years. And we've heard a lot about kind of the context for that, and you'll see some of that in the slides that come forward. But the things that are most interesting to us are the problems of business process engineering that work in mobile-first environments. And when you say mobile-first environments, people often think the farmer in Uganda, and we work with a lot of farmers in Uganda, but you also think about the American teenager. I don't know if any of you have tried to get in touch with your kids via voicemail lately, but it's slow. This is one of those graphs that we get to see a lot, which is about how quick it is that all of the new technologies that are evolving are getting adopted. But the devil's in the details, and what you see there is that it's the top 25% of Americans. If you look around the world, the most popular data channel in the world by quite a long shot is offline. It's still text messaging. And while we've heard a couple of different numbers today, from number of unique subscriptions and subscribers at 3.6 billion to total number of connections being somewhere between 6.9 and 7.2 billion by the end of this year, what is very clear is that the billions of people that we are often trying to reach are still the ones who live outside of the grasp of the ever exciting and growing reach of smartphones. Why this is important is because it has direct implications for what we need to do to be able to communicate. And for diplomacy, the importance is not a new technology necessarily, just in terms of a new capability, but in terms of a new community. And that's what infrastructure and that's what mobile are often bringing to these debates and these conversations. We've heard a lot about power, and we've heard a lot about the effect that it has on new technologies. What the next slide is the Nokia 1100, and which is often called Africa's smartphone. And lots of people laugh at that, but the battery lasts for 10 days. And it has a torch, which means it makes it a lot easier to use at night. It is, however, not a fantastic information communication tool. And what that means is that if you're going to communicate effectively on it, you have to do it simply and directly. One of the most beautiful things about SMS is that it costs something. And what that means is that if you communicate through it, it has to be worth it, not only to you, but to the end user to participate in a two-way exchange. And what you get with simplicity is scale. You're able to reach millions, if not billions of people more than you were before, and you're able to do it in a structure and in a process that returns value for both you and for your end user. These are just a couple of examples. This is actually two quick slides. One is the Ministry of Zimbabwe was using FrontlineSMS to do disease surveillance throughout the country, covering 75% using SMS. And another one of our early lovely use cases is St. Gabriel's in Malawi, which is a hospital that coordinated a network of community health workers. This is a series of community radio stations that have put out peace-building content to engage people in a public dialogue where there was never the forum for it before, and have halved the cost of citizen engagement. This is the way that mobile banking, through connecting via mobile payments and slightly very easy to use software, was able to halve the amount of time that it took to get payments and increase savings rates by 85%. And this is an education system where both teachers and students were integrated using a mobile platform, and you saw twice the outcome in terms of literacy rates and 350% better teacher engagement. What's important about this is not the fact that it happened over SMS. This is a land titling system trialed in Bolivia, where through a number of platforms, including SMS, they were able to reduce the time to title by 80% and the cost to title by 40%. These are real business process gains, and they're business processes based on relationships. We've heard a lot about how do you mobile optimize, how do you get the right data. In diplomacy, can you say you know exactly what it is that you want people to know about you, and what exactly you want to be able to tell them about yourself? Those are the beginnings of any relationship. And technology won't build the relationship for you, but it will make it a lot easier to keep going. What will build the relationship is being simple and clear and as upfront and integrated as you can. And so what we've found is that the gains are transformative, and the possibilities are difficult to predict. We often try and tell people how much you can gain from doing these things, and people stop believing us because the numbers get really high. But what we find is that, particularly in diplomacy, whether it's through civil society partners, whether it's through consulates themselves, or whether it's just through being a little bit more articulate, the diplomacy has enormous amounts to gain by reaching out on the platforms that reach the most people with the messages they're most able to hear. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Everyone be sure to send Sean an SMS and say what a great job he did.